Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Instant Movie Reviews with
Raina
and Droo. I'm Droo.
Nice to see you. It's a nice Sunday afternoon for us here. Beautiful weather, and we're getting ready to go see Fantastic Four. I've been loving all the promotional content for this.
Yeah.
The interesting music, the retro style commercials and imagery. It's been out for a few days. It came out last week, very late last week. And so far, people are liking it.
And I was worried when it was coming out that there would be Fantastic Four versus Superman, and there would be maybe tension between the fandoms, but there seems to be synergy that people are just loving both of them. So
yeah, I'm here for it. I don't think we need to pit the DC Marvel world against each other. I like to see these movies do well because then I just want more of them. Have you seen the trailer?
I have.
So what's your thoughts on the trailer so far?
I also love the retro feel of it. It feels like this is going to be just a fresh, kind of lighter side of the DCU, which after of the MCU, after the heaviness of Thunderbolts, I think that it would be nice to see something again that's sort of light and feel good in these troubled times that we live in.
I know we've said this a few times now, and it just really feels like we need a bit more of the feel good movies or the good guy wins or stuff. And Thunderbolts was fantastic, but it did deal very heavily with depression and anxiety and stuff. And it was a lot for what was happening in the world right then. So I did see the trailer, and then I saw an international trailer that spoiled a key plot point for me. So I'm pretty frustrated about that because I do feel like it took some of the oomph away for me, and it was before the film came out, so it's not like this is just something that came out after the fact. So I'm kind of going into it oh, really? So I'm still hoping there's some surprises for me.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing spoiled for me.
Yeah. Did you read the comics growing up at all?
No, Fantastic Four is one of those big properties that for whatever reason just didn't catch on in my young nerd brain. I think I said in a previous video for Superman that I wasn't a Superman fan. I was more of a Spider-Man, Batman fan growing up. Fantastic Four, I always knew of them. I played the terrible old PlayStation 1 game. But it's not a franchise or characters that I've particularly previously been into. But I really like Pedro Pascal. I really like Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on who plays the Thing.
Oh, I know, but he's done really good stuff too, though. He's really, really good too. And I'm sorry, buddy, that we can't remember your name. I'll put it up in text.
And I love that they finally cast a Jewish actor to play the Thing, because the Thing is actually a Jewish character. And I just think that it's nice that we finally have an appropriately cast actor playing this character.
Yeah. And was it Thunderbolts that had the post-credit trailer that linked to Fantastic Four?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So there are post-credit trailers with this one too. So we're going to watch that and see what happens. Mainly, I'm just hoping for something that's going to be good and uplifting and fun. I actually like Julia Garner, the idea of her as a Silver Surfer.
I forgot she was in this.
As Shabala, is that the name or something?
I forget the name of that Silver Surfer.
Yeah, but she's his wife. And just FYI, the original Silver Surfer, I have him as a friend on Facebook because he also does a whole bunch of other stuff where he is a aquatic creature, so Doug, affectionately called Dougie by all of his friends, and he endorses her and thinks she's great and went to see her. So anybody who's trying to pit the two of them against each other does not know that actor very well, because he's the biggest cheerleader for everyone. And because I have him as a friend, I saw that for the opening red carpet they brought in all the previous iterations of the Fantastic Four, all the actors. So they got to go in and see it, which was really sweet, and they did a little tribute to them. So I think that's cool. I was never big on this franchise either.
I've never seen any of the other Fantastic Four movies. I actually joked when this got announced, I was doing a Mean Girls thing where I was stop trying to make the Fantastic Four happen. It's not going to happen.
They're bad. Yeah, they're bad. And it was one of those things where they just kept making them to try to hang on to the IP, and it just kept getting worse, and you half expect Morpheus to show up. It's Morbin time at some point. So, but we're gonna head in and grab our popcorn, and we are seeing this in IMAX.
We are,
so that'll be really nice. And I love seeing IMAX films when we can do it. Drew and I sit right at the back so we can hop over the seats if we have to inevitably pee because we're old. It's just easier than crossing across all these laps and everything. But
we're not too old to jump over the seats.
That's right. Yeah. I'm also really curious to see if there's any merchandise inside because they had a lot of cool Superman merchandise that I showed in our last video. Speaking of our last video, just thank you so much to everybody who watched it.
Yeah, that's wild. Like we got so many views so quickly. We were like, what's going on? So, and we hit 50 subscribers. So thanks to those of you who are new and old who are joining us here.
Yeah, thank you so much for helping us hit our first milestone, 50. That's really exciting. I hope it doesn't take us like another 6 months to get another 50. Hopefully we go a little bit faster. But anyway, we're going to go see the film now.
We'll see you in a minute.
All right, we're back, and that was a packed theater, which was really nice to see.
It's weird. Like, I saw in some kind of news article talking about the box office this weekend, and they said there was a big drop-off between Friday to Saturday, so maybe this isn't as popular as it may have appeared originally, but that was an almost sold-out IMAX screening.
I didn't see an empty chair.
Yeah.
And actually, I think when the box office does their numbers, it's just American numbers. I think we're still counted in international, even though we're like up on above.
It's interesting. I don't actually know what we're counted as.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of stuff does better here sometimes than it'll do there sometimes. Like, especially like Superman felt like it was doing really, really well here.
Yeah.
And I knew it would do well in the US, but I think with some of the political stuff, maybe that's where it was kind of getting dicey. But here we were all like, yeah.
Be nice to people.
Be nice to people.
Be a good person.
Just like Canadians. Canadians, right? We're nice. We're nice. We save squirrels. So like that was a really comic booky movie.
Yeah. It sort of felt, people commented the same thing about Superman, is that it didn't try to be realistic or grounded in any way and just leaned into like the comic book zaniness. And so this definitely did.
I found Superman more realistic than this.
Yeah.
Like I found Superman more believable. And even though it had comic book logic, I felt like it at least explained the logic a bit. Here, I felt there was a lot of just comic book science. Like, oh, this totally impossible thing, it's just going to happen and we're not going to explain it. And this impossible thing over here, this is the best solution, even though it's like really impossible.
And we're just going to build all these things.
Yeah. So you do have to suspend belief.
Yeah.
But it does a really good job of pulling you in so that you feel like you can suspend belief, like a cartoon almost. It reminded me a bit of a cartoon.
Yeah.
And they call back to like the old style cartoons for it too.
Yeah, it definitely felt very retro, but like retro futuristic. But that's just, again, I said to you when we were on the way out, it felt very true to Jack Kirby, the guy who created the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
They didn't try to shy away from that, which I think, again, I haven't seen the other Fantastic Four movies, but I hear that they didn't lean into that at all.
This was so much better than those movies. And I was saying to Drew when I watched it that it's a bit hard for me to put my finger on, but they were presented and operated very much as a unit, as opposed to like going down these rabbit holes with an origin story and like each individual character. They very much felt like an already established unit, and at times you almost forget you're watching Fantastic Four, like, because you're so absorbed with the plot of like what's happening and what's going on. Like, to me, it was like, I forgot that it was like.
And again, like in leaning into that, besides the Human Torch, who uses his flame powers a lot in that movie, there's big long stretches where it's like, I actually thought, big long stretches, pun, where I thought, I haven't seen Reed Richards do really anything all that stretchy for a while. Like, for a movie that was as comic booky as that was, it did not feel like a superhero movie for a lot of it until the very end.
Yeah, it reminded me a bit of X-Men in that when you're watching the X-Men cartoons or movies or TV shows, because they're all mutants and you're following their whole stories, you almost forget sometimes that you're watching something about mutants until they come face to face with something, right? And I also liked that you mentioned the retro thing, and I noticed there was a lot of detail given to the props and the sets and the music. We've been singing the jingle like the entire time.
Other people were singing the jingle as we left the theater.
The movie ended and we could hear this woman be like, Fantastic Four! And I'm like, man, whoever wrote that jingle, like even that, the fact that it had a hooky jingle, bum, 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 like that is something right out of the retro
Well, they've
world.
been using that at every IMAX movie for the last couple of months that we've seen. Instead of the usual IMAX, countdown, it was a Fantastic Four themed one with that theme song. So I think they realized that they struck gold.
Well, it's so refreshing because the IMAX countdown is the same thing it was when we first got this IMAX theater, and I would come to it. It's the exact same freaking little bit that they play. So it's so nice to have something new. What are your thoughts on the various actors in the main roles? So
I thought everyone was great. You already expect Pedro Pascal to be great, with the exception of Wonder Woman 1984. I think he's been great in everything that I've seen him in. Vanessa Kirby, I expected good things from because I haven't seen a lot of what she's been in, but I was saying to you that I went to see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, and she just immediately stood out. I was like, who is that woman? Like, she's great. Of course, we know Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things and from A Quiet Place Day One.
He was great. Stand out again, just like that.
Yeah, this is the first thing I think that I'm not sure. Maybe I've seen the guy who played the Thing in something else, and again, I've forgotten his name again. It's a complicated name, so that's why I'm having trouble remembering it.
He's been in a lot of things, and when I looked him up on IMDb, I was like, oh yeah.
But he was great as a Thing, and that could have been a difficult role. Like, the character is such a CGI creation. It's easy sometimes for the actor to kind of disappear into that.
Yeah.
But it sort of was like Bradley Cooper still brought a lot to Rocket Raccoon.
Yep. And so I did look online. I follow the special effects group that worked on this, and they actually did practical costumes for the Thing and for the big bad guy, Galactus. And the actors, like, there were actors. It wasn't always the actors, but there were actors wearing it, and then they CGI'd over top of it.
Yeah.
And I think that made the Thing very believable. I actually felt he worked better than some of the CGI stuff they've done for the Hulk. Like, he felt really...
he felt like he was in the room with the other actors.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, he looked like Rocky. Like, it felt like you could touch him and it would be rock. Like, that was cool. And also, Herbie was a mix of puppeteering and CGI. And I think Disney and Marvel being under Disney now and Star Wars being under Disney, they struck gold when they did that with Baby Yoda, Grogu. And once they figured that out, we saw it with Legend of Ochi and stuff, this mix of puppeteering and the CGI really, really works.
I still can't believe Ochi was a puppet.
Yeah. It really, really works. So it works very well for Herbie, and he's a very charming little character too. You don't have to know anything about the Fantastic Four.
I don't.
You don't have to watch any movies previous to this. And even though there's a mid-credit and an end credit, and even though they do set things up, if you missed it by accident, you're not really missing anything. So this almost works as a standalone. Yeah. And
which was actually kind of refreshing, because we're how many films into the MCU now, and just to be able to just watch this and take it on its own. At the same time, though, it's weird. I kind of wanted a little bit more of a connection to the MCU. I don't know. Like, I've gotten so like conditioned to expect.
But here's the thing. It felt like a Phase 1 film. And as Phase 1, there was a lot of connections that we didn't know until later. And then they all harkened back. I feel like they're probably doing that. But see, they had to course correct with the whole Kang Dynasty thing. They laid down all this groundwork, and then that went AWOL.
Well, they're now claiming that they decided even before all that to move away from it, but I don't believe that for a second.
Either way, they had to course correct on it, and a lot of stuff got thrown out so I feel like they're probably playing this a little bit closer to the chest now. Now, as much as I'm singing the praises of the CGI, there were a few moments of Twilight Baby in this. And so if you've seen the Twilight series, the big funny joke is that they have this animatronic CGI baby, and it looks terrifying and hilarious and very uncanny valley. There were a few scenes, for me at least, with this baby. that they didn't use the baby actor, and the baby actor was great.
The baby actor was so good.
So good, very natural. But the CGI baby was creeping me right out.
How in the world did they train an infant to, like, a lot of the time the baby can just be a baby and it works for the scene.
Honestly, I bet you that they kind of ad-libbed a bunch of this stuff repeatedly with the baby to kind of get the shots. And I think that the actors must have had spent time with the baby or babies. It's often twins and they swap them out.
I just looked it up online. It was one baby.
Oh, was it really one baby? Wow. And, you know, he is a bit older because that is just sort of what the rules require. They can't just go using newborns and stuff. And it's also very risky for the newborns too. But like, I think about my son when he was that age, and, you know, he was very like interested in looking at things. And I could just imagine, the baby in the studio filming this stuff, literally just looking at the lights and them having the actors line up.
I wouldn't be surprised too if the baby's like mom or something would like run in and get the baby like prepared to be in the emotional state that it needed to be. Or there's even, there's a lot of baby in this movie, which I thought I wasn't going to enjoy at first, but they cast the most adorable child in the universe. I think
he was very cute. And it was very motherhood heavy. Like Sue Storm really finds her power from motherhood. You could tell, and as a mom, I related to that. And I really actually liked how Mr. Fantastic Reed, that he was like so compulsively like driven to solve everything, so that when he was against an unsolvable thing, but that's so fatherhood for you. Like dads are kind of known for needing to be able to think 10 steps ahead, plan everything, and then the baby gets here and that's all gone to the wind.
And there's a great scene towards the end with the male characters trying to do something while the Invisible Woman just kind of stands off on the side and watches them, which I was like, this is very funny.
Oh yeah, it was great. So not a lot of action for what I was expecting, but the action we did get, I thought was done very well. I think Superman did a better job of the action.
I agree.
So this is not an action flick. Like, it has action in it, but this is very much, it almost felt like a sitcom.
But it does have your like classic MCU big threat and like this big action set piece towards the end. And that scene, I liked being able to see them use the powers, but at the same time I was like, okay, this is something I've seen before. Like I've seen this kind of scene in the MCU before. I really appreciated the more character-driven, family-driven stuff that they focused on. I said to you, it sort of reminded me a little bit of Blue Beetle and its focus on family and the importance of that to this entire group.
And I just found it very well-rounded in many aspects, like just showing you their world, their parallel universe that they're in, the way the people are, the way the news is, the way technology is.
I love the fashions. It was so
fashion. Yeah, like it was just, it really felt like it was pulled out of the pages of a comic book. Yeah. It just, in the same way that when you watch Superman and you are in Metropolis and you recognize the sights of Metropolis, that's what this felt like. Like it felt like you're very immersed in their world. And I really liked that.
It feels to me kind of like superhero movies, and I don't know if it's just a coincidence that Superman and Fantastic Four are doing this at the exact same time, but it's bringing the comic book funness back into it without feeling like they need to over-explain everything. Like in Superman, who is Mr. Terrific? How does he have all this technology? We don't know. It doesn't matter. Like you just roll with it.
This was very much like that.
Yeah.
Julia was fantastic as Shalabal. I was close. I keep calling her
Silver Surfer.
Shamalama Ding Dong. She was great. I don't know what all these comic book crybaby boys were going on about how her CGI was done, because it was really good on the IMAX screen. It was very, very cool. And I really liked, I know I saw people commenting before the movie came out, like the contacts and the weirdness of her eyes. I liked that, especially on the IMAX screen. And once you get more of the story of her character, her origin, why she's helping Galactus, this kind of piercing look, her demanding voice.
She's a little scary.
She is. She's intimidating. And I really liked her. And she had good chemistry, both like as a bad guy and then just the chemistry with the rest of the cast.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar in the comics with either of the Silver Surfers, the male or the female one, but I'd be interested. I'm going to look it up to see if she has like a history with the Human Torch in the comics, because that connection, they really played that up.
Well, in the comics, she's married to a Silver Surfer. So like, so I don't know where they pulled that from. But, you know, a lot of crybabies were mad and they're like, oh, it's gender swap, but it's not. She's literally pulled from the comics. And
there's a female Silver Surfer in the comics, and there has been for years.
We know that this is not the sacred timeline. Like, we know this is not the world the Avengers are in, right? So that's part of why...
We're in Earth 828.
And that's they tell you that, right? So it wasn't going to be the main universe is Silver Surfer. It has to be someone else. And maybe she gets pulled into the new one. I don't know. The way things ended with her character is kind of up in the air. So, but I thought she did a really good job. Really thought just the whole thing was very well cast. Everybody was really good. How would you rate it?
So I'm between a 7 and an 8. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't as blown away as I was with Superman. I didn't like it as much as Thunderbolts. I liked how Thunderbolts really got me in the feels. And I said in the intro that I wanted something light and just entertaining, and that's exactly what I got. But at the same time, I kind of wanted just a little bit more connection, and I found Galactus himself a tiny bit underwhelming. Loved the Silver Surfer. Galactus, I could have used a little something extra, and I don't even know exactly what I would change to make it better, but there were just aspects of him that I was just like, he's a big, kind of generic cosmic threat, but I loved his design. He was comic book accurate in terms of the way that he looked. I don't know.
It's a tricky comic book character to display. So like, they displayed him well, but I totally get what you're feeling. It was meant to be like the highest stakes possible, but it didn't really feel high stakes to me. Like, it was meant to be the highest. Like, this is like the big baddie, and it didn't. And you know, and Franklin, and it's not a spoiler to say, you know, like, everybody knows that Franklin goes on to develop powers and everything. And there's a lot of alluding that, you know, he's this big cosmic power as well. And we don't see a lot of that in the film. You know, it's definitely hinted at, but I wanted it hinted at more.
It is called First Steps, though.
Yeah, and I mean, it would have been nice if it ended showing him learn to walk or something. I don't know. Like, I feel like even that little bit of the extra title is pointless. Like, just call it Fantastic Four. I don't know. It doesn't need that first steps bit, like, because it's not their first steps, and the baby doesn't show first steps, and I don't know.
What about you? What would you rate it?
I would put it a little bit higher than you, but all of my criticisms are basically the same. The reason I put it a little bit higher is I really liked how they worked as a unit, and I feel that we need movies to do that a bit more cohesiveness to it. And I really loved the story overall. I loved the idea of it, but like Droo, I wanted a little bit more from it. But I also just really liked that it was like, yay, the good guys won, and it's a good, happy film, and like, we're coming out of it and we're going bum, 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 bum.
Yeah,
like,
it's not Thor Love and Thunder.
Oh my God, no, it's not Thor Love and Thunder, which I literally, at the end of that, I looked at Droo and I was like, I can't take much more of this. Like, it was just like sad movie after sad movie after sad movie in the MCU. So I really liked that. It felt hopeful. Parts of it had me rolling my eyes, and I had to be like, okay, this is a comic book movie, just in terms of, you know, I told you, but I don't want to spoil it for them. And it does get score with me just a slightly bit higher, because I feel that they did a really good job of depicting motherhood and the feeling around having a new child, and just being willing to do anything for that child. So to me, it's around an 8, maybe 8.5. Like, I'm kind of hovering between the two.
I think if I hadn't just seen Superman, I would have reacted better to that. But Superman just was everything that I wanted. And this was kind of along the same flavor, but I feel like Superman did it better. Yeah,
but you know what? I don't even want to pin them against each other, because they're two very different movies. So I don't feel like it's fair to pin them against each other. The thing that they have in common is being a superhero movie coming out in the summer and having a positive message. You know, Superman's was very much the positivity of like, you know, inclusion, and like immigrants have value and kindness. The big message was kindness. This one was like community and family, and like, we are all part of something. Both films have really important messages for Americans. I feel like Americans really need to be watching both these films and paying attention. They even at one point in Fantastic Four give that famous quote about, you know, never underestimate a small group of people about to make a change, kind of thing. And it's so true, and I really just hope Americans are paying attention right now.
But the other super comic booky thing is there's one part of the movie that shows like the entire planet cooperating at the exact same time to combat a threat, and I'm like, oh yeah, these people haven't reached 2020 yet.
Yeah, where we proved that we can't do that because we couldn't, and now measles are back and everything. Good Lord. But I think it's definitely worth seeing on the big screen. And if you can see it on IMAX, just like Superman, I think it's worth seeing on IMAX. Some of it, the way it's shot, it just translates better, I think, on a big screen and the immersive environment. And it does give me a bit more hope for the MCU. Like when we started off the year with Captain America, I love Anthony Mackie, but I practically forgot that film. Like it was very forgettable for me. God love him. He's so good. And I loved him in Altered Carbon, and he totally deserved his due. And that movie is just forgettable for me. Thunderbolts, fantastic. This was Fantastic Four was fantastic. And next year we have Doom. So I feel like that's going to be tricky, because they're bringing back actors, and it's either going to nail it the way they did with Endgame, or it's just going to feel like pandering, I think.
Confession, I've never seen any of the Avengers movies. This one will be my first, so... I never watched any of the Avengers films. I told you, I was like very MCU light until like the last phase, which was the worst time to enter the MCU as a regular watcher, but I didn't really get into it until after.
They are so good though. Like especially Ultron, because of your love for Wanda and Vision. You really should at least
WandaVision actually is the thing that made me like more of an MCU fan.
Yeah. So what are we going to see in the next little bit, Drew? Do you think?
We want to see Weapons by the director of Barbarian. I've only watched one of the trailers. There's apparently another newer trailer that's like spoilery and shows you like some character deaths, and I don't want to see that. But the first full-length trailer, I just watched it again the other night. Julia Garner is in that as well. And I just think it looks fantastic.
They put out a fake website, and it ties into Barbarian a bit, and I've already been all over the website, and then they did a live stream.
Are they doing a shared universe kind of thing?
Yeah, and so they did a live stream, and it was like a creepy live stream, and I watched the live stream, and it's just like it's reminding me of back in the day, man. Like the marketing on this is really good. I just hope it's not another case of that film we saw last year with Nicolas Cage that had all that great marketing, and then we saw it, and it was like, I mean, yeah, it was good, but like the marketing was better.
On what you're even talking about.
Where he was the serial killer.
Oh, Longlegs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Longlegs had brilliant marketing, and then when we went to see it, it kind of fizzled, right?
Yeah.
Like it was good, but it just wasn't as good as the marketing made it seem.
Yeah, the monkey was better than Longlegs.
So I'm hoping that this is not the same kind of thing. I hope it's not like brilliant marketing and then we go to see it. But that's the big one I want to see next. But there's tons of stuff coming out that I want to see. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it all. Some of it I might have to stream or rent online or something. But we're just like, it's been a good year mostly for movies. It's going to be really interesting to see what's at the top of our list by the end of the year, because Avatar is coming out.
Oh, they showed the trailer for Avatar before this movie, and like they dimmed the lights. Like everyone is to pay attention. It's not a trailer. You're supposed to just like turn to the person you're seated next to and like talk about your day. And it looks so good. I was so mid on Avatar until you finally convinced me to watch it, and now I'm just like,
my friend's hair is in that movie. My friend's dreads became Spider's hair because his wife is a hair artist and she made the wig with his old dreads. Seriously. Seriously. Yeah, that is coming out, and that's going to be really good. I'm very like up in the air on Tron. Don't really like Jared Leto, but like the rest of the cast. Love the soundtrack, but not huge on the idea of them bringing Tron into the real world. Trying to be open to it because the last one was a smash hit, but I feel like it has big shoes to fill. I'm kind of hoping they'll put it out in theaters again, and Drew and I can do what we did with Avatar, go see it and see if he likes it and if we want to see the next one. Because that one, I'm at least confident, just like I was with Avatar, that it's at least a really good movie to see on the big screen, like in 3D and on a big screen.
The trailer looked impressive visually, at least.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm sort of mid on Jared Leto. When he's good, he's good. But
Cult
a lot
leader.
of the times just, cult leader.
Yeah, but the music, the music, the Nine Inch Nails music, I've been listening to it on repeat. Anyway, thank you so much for helping us get to 50 subscribers. We hope you'll continue to like and subscribe, leave a comment. If you want to get notified when our videos drop, you can press the bell. But if you don't want to get an email notification, then don't press the bell. I don't press bells on videos because I don't want to get emails all the time. But we don't put out a lot of content yet. So, you know, maybe once a week if we're lucky. So we're not going to be spamming you. We do appreciate you. And anything else you want to add, Drew?
just thanks for the response to our last video, and hopefully people come back to watch this one. And yeah, if you're interested even slightly in this movie, I think you should go see it because it's a good time.
And we're not endorsed. We're not paid to say this. We're literally just telling you our instant movie reviews. And sometimes we change our minds after we think on things a few days later. But I think this, just like Superman, is going to be one of those films where, like, yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed that. So we will see you again at the movies.
See you at the movies.